Breaking news came out of drama erupting over Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence VADA drug testing, which was the million-dollar question leading up to this fight. Victor Conte, who's an expert in this field, especially when it comes to masking banned substance, aka steroids, in which Victor Conte came out stating, and I quote, "My understanding is Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence Jr. are still not enrolled in VADA testing. Errol did 12 weeks with Mikey for their fight. Manny did commission testing only for the Keith Thurman fight in 2019. Why does Manny seem to refuse VADA? Question mark." End of the quote. Shortly after, Manny Pacquiao team responded in Sean Gibbons, who's the manager of Manny Pacquiao promotion, by stating, and I quote, "When you need some steroids, call this tool. Also, he sells used cars that run on HGH, the best deals in the Bay Area. And snack on my
these nuts." Got him.
End of the quote. Therefore, this is the heated exchange between Victor Conte and Manny Pacquiao promotional manager Sean Gibbons over the drug testing for Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao. Now, to further clarify, Errol Spence did say there is no rematch clause when it comes to this mega fight. And when Errol Spence was asked, is there Olympic-style drug testing, USADA drug testing, or even VADA, Errol Spence responded by stating, indeed, there is VADA testing, which means both fighters are good to go in that aspect. Therefore, what Victor Conte said doesn't go hand to hand with what Errol Spence said, since Conte stated that Manny Pacquiao have not enrolled in VADA testing yet, which to me that only could mean one thing. Maybe Manny Pacquiao and Errol Spence agreed to VADA testing 2 months leading up to the fight. In other words, VADA testing is not going to start until the fight is 2 months away, which at the moment in time, we still more than 2 months away from Pacquiao versus Errol Spence fight. Nevertheless, if Victor Conte is claiming Manny Pacquiao have yet to agree to VADA testing, then that fall back on Errol Spence, not Manny Pacquiao, because Errol Spence said there is VADA testing indeed. More importantly, it seems like Errol Spence put himself in a better position than Keith Thurman did in 2019, where Keith Thurman did not force VADA drug testing, only commission-style drug testing. On the other hand, Errol Spence clarified to Barbershop Conversation that him and Manny Pacquiao both agreed to VADA drug testing. Therefore, there are no excuses to be made. You can have concerns, but you can't make up excuses after Errol Spence made that statement. Now, the concerns may be, how intense is the VADA drug testing? Is there a cutoff date, etc., etc.? See, the fact that Manny Pacquiao is 42 years old, coming off a 2 years layoff to fight a killer in Errol Spence, who's number 2 pound for pound in his prime, is beyond belief. Only Hopkins did something similar to that since he fought on a championship level until he was 50 years old. So Pacquiao is joining Hopkins with the stunt he pulled, similar to when Hopkins moved up in weight and fought Tarver at the time. Nevertheless, a lot of people started wondering, in order for Manny Pacquiao to make this fight more on an even playing field, it's possible that Manny Pacquiao is eating off the forbidden fruit in order to turn back the clock. Teddy Atlas had made that comment, etc., etc. But for the people that may say that comment is out of place, just like Victor Conte accusations, what you guys have to realize is that all of this controversy came from when Manny Pacquiao turned down Floyd Mayweather's offer to fight back in 2009, in which Floyd Mayweather sent Manny Pacquiao an offer of $50 million guaranteed with 50-50 split on pay-per-view, in which Manny Pacquiao declined due to a drug test. Manny Pacquiao said he is not taking Olympic-style drug testing, in which, if he's forced to, he's turning down this lucrative offer by Floyd Mayweather. At the time, Pacquiao made some ridiculous statements to why he's refusing to take random Olympic-style drug testing. Pacquiao said he's scared of needles, but ironically, he has tattoos. Pacquiao also said he don't want to take random-style drug testing because the last time he took one, he felt weak and he lost to Eric Morales, which that statement worked against him, not for him. More importantly, the factual information that raised a lot of eyebrows was when Teddy Atlas revealed on ESPN that during negotiations between Mayweather and Pacquiao, Manny Pacquiao team requested a 30-day cutoff date when it comes to Olympic-style drug testing. When Floyd Mayweather refused, Manny Pacquiao team followed up requesting a 14 days cutoff date. When Floyd Mayweather also refused that demand, Manny Pacquiao team requested from Floyd Mayweather team that if Manny Pacquiao fails a drug test leading up to the fight, can they keep it under the hush until after the fight and continue pursuing the fight with a $5 million fine, where Floyd Mayweather team also declined. Mayweather made it clear if Pacquiao fails any drug test for steroids, the fight is off. So Manny Pacquiao turned down the fight completely and walked away from negotiations. Therefore, even though Manny Pacquiao never failed a drug test for steroids, the fact that Manny Pacquiao turned down Olympic-style drug testing on more than one occasion, not just for any fight, but for the biggest fight of the decade between him and Floyd Money Mayweather, that's highly suspicious. The emails alone for the 30 and 14 days cutoff date, and if Pacquiao fails a drug test, can we keep it under the hush? That alone is highly suspicious. Even Manny Pacquiao hardcore boxing fans will agree to that as well. With the facts being laid out, I can see what Victor Conte is alluding to. Victor Conte is more so concerned if Pacquiao is doing a full camp VADA drug testing, not just for portion of the camp, which that falls back on Errol Spence. If I know this information, I'm pretty sure he knows it better than I do. However, it's possible that since Errol Spence really wanted this fight, he gave up a portion of what Manny Pacquiao demanded as far as leniency when it comes to drug testing, in order to entice Pacquiao to take the fight after a 2 years layoff at 42 years old. Which, like I said before, you guys can raise concerns, but you guys cannot make up excuses, because Errol Spence said out of his own mouth, indeed, there is VADA drug testing. With the facts being stated, drop your thoughts in the comment section below, subscribe below, and click on the notification bell to be continued on the next episode of Akhi, Akhi TV. Peace, and I'm on to the next one.
In the fullness of time, when people look back in history, they will see that Pacquiao is the man that Mayweather didn't fight, rather than Pacquiao didn't get the Mayweather.
I don't think it'll come across that way. I think people will say, why didn't they fight each other? And blame both guys, to be honest with you, because the first negotiation we were against the blood test, and it was kind of our fault that the first time it didn't work. And then we came to a point where we accepted that later on. But
how much do you think the promoters and the animosity the promoters had toward each other have hurt that fight?
100%. That's why. Fighters fight. To me, fighters don't fight anybody. Fighters aren't. It's not like fighters are scared and stuff like that. I think a lot to do, especially a couple of years ago, a lot had to do with Golden Boy and Top Rank. I mean, just not wanting to work together. It's like, I remember when Don King and Bob Arum were the big guys, and they hated each other, but they still promoted fights. But I don't know why these two companies can't, because the pool for our fighters now is getting much smaller because it's 2 separate pools now.
Right.
And if they don't start crossing over, there's not going to be any more fights.
What was it like for you as a guy that, for a while you were managing training Golden Boy fighters and
do.
top-ranked fighters, right?
I still do.
But not as many as you have,
Not
right?
as many, but I still have Frankie
So
Gomez.
did that create issues for you? Like, you have Bruce on one end and,
They never played the middle with me. I just dealt with each of them as individuals, and no one asked me to go with one side or the other. So they were very respectful. I don't work for anybody, and I do whichever. If I have a new kid coming up, and Golden Boy makes me a better offer than Top Rank did, I will go with them. I have to go what's best for the fighter.
Freddie, you seem to be suggesting just there then that even about Floyd Mayweather, that perhaps he even wants the fight with Manny.
Excuse me one second. You guys are welcome to stay, but Joel Diaz is here on the other side if you need to talk to him. What?
You seem to be even suggesting that Mayweather actually wants the fight or wanted the fight with Manny, but he was talked out of it by someone.
I know fighters, and fighters, they're not afraid of anybody in the world. I mean, they will fight each other, I think. But I can't read his mind, of course. The thing is, over time, it just, why hasn't this fight happened? Every big fight that's ever supposed to happen has happened in the history of boxing. But sometimes sooner, sometimes later. But it's just like this one, maybe it's too late at this point. It's how much interest is it? I mean, it's still a big fight, but it's not like it was 2 years ago.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't think sometimes fans do, so I want to ask you this question. You just said fighters fight and they'll fight anybody. But you also said previously when you were discussing Mayweather and knockouts, you said he doesn't have the balls to go for it. So I just want to get in your words to explain that, because some people will hear your two quotes and think they're contradictory.
Yes. The thing is, I think 2 years ago, Mayweather would want to fight Manny. But now, at this point in his career, he's so close to the end of his career.
Finishing undefeated.
He wants to finish undefeated, and I don't think why take that chance? That's how I feel. But the thing is, when they were both in their prime 2 years ago, and there was a lot of interest in the fight, I'm sure both fighters wanted to make that fight happen.
So when you look at Mayweather, and you go, he's got 3 fights after this fight left on his contract. If he is 48-0 going to that last fight, no matter who he fights, can he finish at 49-0? Can he go away undefeated? It's going to be a massive 2 million pay-per-view, you would think, just because of what will be riding on it. So wouldn't he be wise at that point to say, let's fight Pacquiao, because now I'm going to give myself the ultimate test of finishing my career against the hardest fight?
I agree with that, and I think I'm on our side. I honestly think a little bit that Bob wants that fight to be our last fight. I think that's what Bob.
Both guys going out?
Yes, both guys. Yeah. I mean, that would be a great finish, of course, and then Peter can finish my book.
Well, finally. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.